Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we've actually got to talk about China because in China news, they've been secretly getting US tech once again. Now, this obviously has long-term ramifications for international security, including the development of more advanced weapons of mass destruction, so this isn't good. Now, there was a great write-up, basically translated from Korea into English by Rob Thubron of TechSpot. So I'm cribbing from him pretty heavily here. But here's what's going on, because the Seoul Main Customs Office announced that for 3 years, starting in August of 2020, individuals from a company they are calling Company A in South Korea were basically smuggling in US-made semiconductor integrated circuits into mainland China. Now, this started with these chips being legally purchased and then imported into South Korea by this company. And obviously South Korea is an ally, so we are trading semiconductor technology. Not to mention South Korea is one of the biggest semiconductor manufacturers in the world outside of Taiwan. So they were basically buying these chips legally and then basically legitimately distributing them essentially across the country, meaning they were doing legitimate business on top of smuggling. Now, these chips then were smuggled into China on 144 different air transport trips without actually declaring them to customs, which is illegal under both US and South Korean law. Now, this company also managed to avoid suspicion by ordering more chips than it needed from official distributors and then smuggling those excess chips into China in small batches disguised as sample products. If it took 144 trips, then yeah, they were not just basically throwing them in a box and sending them all in one shot. Now, these chips, for the record, are designed to convert analog signals into digital, and those specifically are under export and import restrictions due to their potential use in the manufacture of weapons of mass destruction. Now, this company, then again, Company A, we don't know who the company is, smuggled in 96,000 chips with a value of $11.6 million US into China, with 53,000 of them basically valued essentially at 8.8 million, and that basically those were classified as strategic items. Now, the firm also hid the money that it made by submitting fabricated documents to banks, falsely declaring the value of components to customs, and basically money laundering. So they absolutely knew what they were doing. Now, the company's CEOs and executives have all been referred to the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office without detention on charges of violating the Foreign Trade Act, the Customs Act, and the Act of Regulation of Concealment of Criminal Proceeds. Now, it's unclear, for the record, where these smuggled chips ended up once they arrived in China. Now, China is very good at taking this kind of technology, reverse engineering it, and then making their own. You can just look at their x86 knockoff clones from Intel to get a good understanding of that, and those have increasingly improved over the years, and we'll talk about that in 1 second here. Now, situations like this are not new, as I mentioned before. Smuggling chips into China has basically gone on for years through various different entities. And the thing, though, is that it's usually on a smaller scale. It's perpetrated by individuals trying to avoid doing things like, pay import taxes. But obviously, if you're smuggling in this amount and then selling them, that's a money-making opportunity. I mean, $11.6 million there. Now, some of the bigger incidents that we've seen over the years was 780 Intel processors worth more than 137,000 being discovered in the engine of a cross-border bus. There's also a guy who tried to smuggle in $3.8 million of electronics from Hong Kong into mainland China. And so there you go. But nothing basically beats the size of this 3-year South Korean operation. And so the long-term ramifications are simply this. As China continues to improve their technology, they continue to apply that technology into all the fields they're attempting to dominate, whether it's biomedicine, potentially more effective weapons of mass destruction. Lord knows, are they sharing that technology with North Korea, who's on their border? Also developing nuclear weapons, because they trade technology on occasion, although it's more China giving North Korea stuff than vice versa. These are things that have long-term ramifications, not just for the region, but for the globe as well. And as China continues to rise as a superpower despite their current real estate financial crisis, if you're following that, this is a huge problem. So we're going to see where this goes, but understand that if they have the ability to take, steal, and reverse engineer intellectual property, they'll do it. And they've done it time and time again. And so I'm just wondering when the next company is going to be found. Hopefully not this big, but this is something that we all have to get behind on. And I understand the draw of money, but here we are. So hopefully this is going to get solved. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.